Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
Hello and welcome to this very helicoptery Wake and Bake News with your host, Shampoo VTA, Kelly Davis. And how are you on this Friday, June 23rd, 2016? Why are there helicopters? Well, because we've had an oil spill just on the other side of the hill with the idiot fucking oil company that is just behind the town and is about the same size as the town. Okay? And these morons about 10 years ago caused a huge fire that had everybody in this neighborhood terrified and burned up all the hillside. And our firemen are wonderful heroes that helped us. And now this year, they've caused an oil spill that could be between 700 or maybe what we're hearing down the street from neighbors is 35,000 barrels of oil. Big difference between 700 and 35,000 in there. So my husband and my son just came back because they're out working today, and they sit down by the high school on the corner. There was a whole bunch of news people, so my son walked down the road up towards Hall Canyon, which they've had blocked for years, but all the locals know how to get into it. You want to go see those gravestones that they hid back there from Ventura's cemetery park, because when the Catholics abandoned Cemetery Park, Ventura, because we're such cool people, took all the people, dug them up, buried them someplace else, took their very expensive marble headstones and threw them into Hall Canyon where they decorated the river bottom. People went, collected them, and put them in their yard as decorations because, that's how we treat war veterans here in Ventura. We have since fixed that, but please remember, this is a derp kind of a town. And here's some more of our derp. Okay, so I'll show you some images that I've collected of this oil spill. It's not big, and it's further up the canyon, my son says, because he's hiked up there, and so is my husband, and they recognize the area it's in. So it's further up. But Hall Canyon runs into a barranca that runs into a tunnel underneath all of Ventura and out into the ocean and right next to one of our major high schools. Well done, geniuses! Not to mention, this is also the hillside above is a big controversy because some developers want to put some richy rich houses. Richy rich house people don't understand that they're about to move into the domain of an idiotic fucking oil company that screws up all the time, like on fucking cue every 10 years. And you're about to build your house there. Enjoy that, dummy. What a genius, So this ought to be interesting. This is going to get the whole town riled up. Oh, I was smoking resin. I decided to kick in because the helicopters were still going and everything. And I thought, I'm just going to start my show and have everybody be part of this interesting experience I'm having. The other thing I saw that was not marijuana related this morning, but is important, is the Democratic sit-in in Congress, trying to force some sort of a reasonable vote and not just blocking everything or voting everything down on gun legislation, reasonable gun legislation, not unreasonable gun legislation. And of course, the Republicans are idiots and are going to drag their feet. And Ryan showed some stunning leadership. Oh my God, I had so much fun watching this idiot. I'll show you this video here. Now let's watch as Paul Ryan, the heroic leader, Republican leader, the Republican majority in the House, raises his gavel and draws the attention of all the senators around him with his charismatic words of leadership. Let us watch as a man's man takes control.
House of order. The chair wishes to make an announcement. The chair appreciates that members will differ on matters of policy and will seek to express those differences. but the chair would hope that the business of the House could be conducted in a fashion that respects positively on the dignity and the decorum of this institution to which we all belong. The veto message of the President on House Joint Resolution 88. The clerk will report the term judiciary.
I yield back about my time and I move the previous question.
The gentleman from Minnesota yields back.
Yes, what a brilliant young leader, and how everyone stopped to listen to his amazing words of leadership. You could almost feel hearts and minds change. Okay, so let's have some fun with a little compare and contrast, shall we? I remember another so-called patriot, and yet I really feel this person is a patriot. And when guns were drawn in public by frightened police officers during a time of crisis, this man spoke out with leadership in his voice. And guess what? It isn't Captain fucking America from the Avengers, like in that movie scene. I think that movie scene where Captain America steps up in the first Avengers and starts speaking to the police officers and delegating and then beating ass, and they suddenly realized too the adult was in the room. They all shut up and immediately recognized the Uber leader standing in front of them, the alpha male right there, the leader right there, and that was not Ryan. Ryan was a limp dick. He was like a little boy. I thought he was going to cry. He looked like he was afraid to look up. Everyone just calm down, okay? Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, he was just like a little boy right there. But let me show you this other leader that I remember, General ONeill, from the time that Katrina had hit, New Orleans, and the police were terrified for their lives because of looters or whatever they saw as some kind of a threat. And this man came in with an adult voice of reason. There are adults. It's just that they're not leading our fucking Congress right now. So let's compare and contrast with this.
I like this footage coming up too, where he's telling these American soldiers, these are U.S. citizens, put your guns down. These American citizens, put your guns down. You hear the people cheering. We're not terrorists. We're Americans. Put the guns down.
So, okay, there again, the AR-15, but this time in the hands of a police officer, supposedly helping to protect citizens from, what, black looters or something like this? Okay, no, that is a meat grinder. You have pointed at a bunch of unarmed citizens who just had a hurricane whip through and destroy their lives. And you're so terrified of them, you're going to shoot them like zombies. Thank God for General ONeill. I think this is what America's saying right now. Put the weapons down. We are Americans. We are not terrorists. What in God's name do you need that for? You're the only person who has it outside of the real crazies or the real dangerous people, and you're going to point it at everybody because you cannot figure out or find or what your hands with your head with two hands. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. But the guns are a major issue. They're not doing anybody any good. Anyway, I just wanted to show you what it looked like when a real adult steps in and starts taking control of a situation. Paul Ryan wasn't it right there. And neither's the Republican Party. And everything that they say is becoming, I'm rubber, you're glue, what you say bounces off me and sticks to you, right? Because they're saying things like, this is obstruction, this is childish, you're just trying to stand in the way of what you've been doing for the last 8 years with Obama in office. By the way, you're stammering out all of that. Not once did you call the president a Muslim. I don't know how you could get through your day. This must be very trying on your little brain. Let's smoke this. tell you why this personally touches me. Because for 9 years, I was a meat puppet that was planted out in front of a high school with the intention of taking a bullet and then hoping, and this is what they told me in my training, is it's better if you're shot. It's better if you're shot. Then perhaps the children and adults inside the classroom will hear the shot, and they will be able to run, and your death will not be needless. That was my job as a security guard, was to take a bullet for a kid. And they didn't arm me. I'm just a normal person that got like a part-time job. Giving me a gun would have been idiotic. Giving all these other people guns is really moronic. So, this meat puppet would like to speak up and say, hey, how about if you don't use a town's moms and dads and, underemployed as meat socks to take a fucking bullet so that maybe the principal or a cop will hear the shot and it will save a few of those innocent lives? I'd like to say for all of us meat puppets, fuck you. Take the goddamn guns away. And fuck you very much. I gotta stop for a second. I don't want to go into that kind of anger. Do you know what it's like to have, I could go on, but do you know what it's like to be paid like $17 an hour and know that someday you might not come home? Boom, some motherfuckers. I'd like to take a bat to those bitches in Congress. They didn't stand on that campus for 9 years watching every stranger that walked by. They didn't watch a fucking robbery at a bank across the street and cops with guns that were as long as a guy's leg. And my principal standing out there going, don't overreact, don't overreact. What the fuck are you talking about, don't overreact? I don't live in a war zone, and I don't want to. This is shocking to me, and I'm angry. Fuck you. Don't overreact. Fuck you. I'm gonna overreact big fucking time. I never want to see shit like that. What is the fucking matter with you? Bringing that into my town. Near the kids that I'm watching. They're in here reading fucking textbooks. Somebody ought to come and slap you right upside your goddamn head. But what about the children? Unless, of course, somebody's going to come in with an AR-15 and fucking splatter them across the wall. Turn them into hamburger. Eventually, the cops just came to us in our trainings and said, run. Okay? We're training you wrong. We're training you to hide under desks and do what the teachers want, and that's what the terrorists want. They want to line you up in a row and hold you in a classroom so that the police and the fire departments just keep coming to save you, and they just keep blowing them up and wasting them and taking them out, and everybody's going to die. And everybody has a job to do for those terrorists. Do you remember the attacks on the schools in Russia? They've been planning to do this. You're giving them the guns to accomplish that mission. And you're putting people like me out there because you can't afford to pay for real security against real threats that you're creating on your own goddamn time. You all deserve to be beaten soundly about the head and shoulders. The stupid is rank up in here. And then you ask normal people like me to somehow shoulder the burden of your fucking legislative stupidity. Why are we not dragging you behind a truck, tying you to a post, and lighting a bonfire under your feet? Why exactly are we not building guillotines? Somebody might deserve it. So, don't get me started about the goddamn shootings. I was one of those people. I had to stand on the campus. We get a phone call. They think there might be a shooting. They called everybody out from the fucking school district office to come out and stand in front of the fucking building in their high heels and their skirts, thinking this was a way to protect the kids. Shoot us first. That's literally how schools have to deal with this. You fucktards! Why aren't we building guillotines for these fuckers? I don't know. But unless you live it and you walk it every day like I did for 9 years in a school with disadvantaged kids, at-risk kids, gang kids, work side by side with cops for 9 years, unless you do that, fuck off, because I don't want to hear fuck all shit that you have to say. I sat in training where they told me about how the terrorists plan to come get us and how they plan to kill us to make you look stupid because you are. Thanks. That's a little stressful on the job at $17 an hour. What you gonna do for my family if I did take a bullet? Goddamn son of a bitches. Fuck you in your ass. May the devil fuck you in your ass hard. I'll fucking pay for a ticket to watch that. You deserve it. Okay. That fucking shit show in Congress right now pisses me off so goddamn much it's not even funny. Those son of a bitches are evil. And they are putting normal Americans through shit all the time. And since 9/11, they have done exactly the wrong goddamn thing, made things 10 times fucking worse. And if we are attacked, they lie or hide it, or I got a cop lying to me because he's got a political agenda. Either way, it's a wonderful shithole that I have to live in with that. Who am I supposed to believe? Fucking son of a bitches. How am I not supposed to cheer for you to be dragged behind a truck? Exactly. Because you sure as hell beat the humanity out of me with your bullshit. I have heard the most ridiculous fucking arguments today. Because Ronald Reagan was shot and no one did anything about that. Why should we care now? In other words, every American should be shot because nobody stopped Ronald Reagan from being shot? Fuck you. Fuck you in your ass. Let's see, what other bullshit have I heard? This is childish. And then they show a bunch of children who are no longer alive because someone who else was crazy with an AR-15 took their childishness away forever. This is not how we do things. Yeah, this is exactly how Republicans do things. Obstruction. Standing in the way of every reform that anybody ever tried to pass in the last 8 years. When did you think you weren't going to get this up your ass? Exactly. I'd love to know how that train of thought worked in your brain, where you didn't think this wasn't going to bring a shitstorm on you. What do you think? You're going to do? Sidestep it? Red herring it? Swipe it away? Wax on, wax off? No. You're going to get your fucking ass massively kicked. Some dickhead all yelling at me, calling me an idiot. I'm like, hey, you should be a therapist. You have a way with people. So convincing. And this motherfucker got a picture of him sitting in a sports car. Listen, bitch. I worked in the school district for 25 years. I know up in my face about school security, about threats, about drugs, about working with the police, while you danced your ass away in a disco somewhere. Fuck off, little boy. Don't you come around here talking to me anymore. Grandma will knock you upside your head. This shit pisses me off like you would not believe. Because some motherfuckers want to sell a dumbass fucking gun. Because some bitch has to own one to feel good. Will you, like, stroke it at night? I don't get what the hell is so exciting about it. What I see is the fucking problems it causes. I've lived it. I've had to talk in teachers' meetings. I've had to sit through fucking trainings with cops. I've had to sit and listen as they said, if you're shot, we're not saving you. We're going after the shooter. We'll leave you to bleed on the ground, grasping at our leg. Please help me. I'm dying. Fuck that. We're in our diamond formation. We have to go after the Fuck you. Fuck you. People were pissed off when I first got hired as a security guard because I was a girl. Security guards aren't supposed to be girls. They're supposed to fucking look like Nick Nolte. Or I don't know. Seriously, they wanted some drugged out, half-ass, fucking big-ass loser that couldn't get a real job that now can be thrown under the bus protecting them. Why are you bringing us this little girl? I want somebody who looks strung out on heroin, who's poor, their teeth are rotting out of their fucking face. Put a little security badge around them and have them walk around outside for a pittance. Save me from all the bad guys. Fuck you. Fuck you for the poor-ass security guards everywhere. Fuck you. Shh. What a bunch of fucking assholes. Do you know why this is annoying? Because at least 3 to 4 times a year we practice lockdowns. And I had to listen for the bell. Is that the fire bell or the lockdown bell? Because both procedures are entirely different. One is about ushering the children out into safety, and the other one is locking yourself into a room and hiding, hoping that the killer kills someone else and not you. Very dystopic 1984. Please, God, kill everyone in that classroom. Don't find us in the bathroom. Fuck you. Fuck Congress. Fuck you. Up your ass. Practice being a dystopic asshole 3 or 4 times a year, hiding someplace, and then having the cops come through and say, I found you. I saw you. You're supposed to hide. The killer will go off and kill someone else then. It's the only fucking solution they have. Is if you can hide better than someone else, you live. Fuck you. Oh, I could not tell you. I mean, I want to cry. I have to stop again. Because it's so fucking ridiculous what I've seen. These cocksucking asshole fuckers with their goddamn fucking gun rights have no goddamn idea what they put through people through. They are dicks. See, this goes along with the stress from my work. This is why my husband will not let me talk about my old job anymore, because when I do, I really get upset. There are so many fucktard things about education, and I'm not the kind of person to just make it all shiny like a penny and go, everyone was so cute, the children were so wonderful, I loved working there. It was the greatest thing I ever did with my life, but it's a goddamn fucking nightmare, and somebody needs to get in there and fix it, and pronto. And security is just the teeny tiny bit of the iceberg. You would not believe the idiotic shit that goes on. Why do you think I smoked pot through the whole thing? Seriously, I would drive my car home and rant, and spit would fly in fucking windshield, because every day was absolute fucking, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. Why are we doing that? Why are we okay, but you think that's going to work? All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Move that pile of rocks from here to there and back again. Go ahead. We'll all just follow along because we got nothing fucking better else to do we? It was like you couldn't get anything goddamn done. Everybody was in charge. Give someone a radio. Give everybody on campus a radio, and everybody suddenly is your boss. Everybody's telling, they're like, they start hassling each other. So where are you? Well, we've been waiting. The whole fucking campus can hear this. There's so much fucking psychological, deep-ass fucking problems. Somebody needs to get in there and fix it. Seriously. Jesus Christ. Even just the fucking Walkie Talkies itself is an entire drama. Sit outside of a campus and tune in to their radio frequency and listen to these people berate each other. It's amazing. It goes from normal, yes, could you pick up a student? Yes. So as the day goes on, it gets, well, where were you? And then John said, it gets insane. You're giving a bunch of people that are untrained and don't have rules and will not follow them. Teachers are amazing for not following rules. Anyway, you're giving them a radio. Guess what? They're going to use it in a very manipulative way. Teachers, administrators, custodians, office managers, anybody that can get their fucking hands on it. And the kids can't wait to get their hand on it so they can yell into it, "Fuck you!" That in itself, the tiny issue of the fucking walkie-talkies on a campus is a nightmare all on its own. Broken radio things, people fixing their radio so it doesn't work, and oh, my radio wasn't working so I couldn't answer you. Or figuring out what the range of the radio is so they could get further away from campus than they're supposed to be. The school district is a fucking nightmare. You have no idea. And the whole thing about shootings is just like, that's where it gets real. That's where the nightmare goes from totally annoying and stressful and disruptive to your life to, and now it will take your life. Because they are so stupid. This is their solutions to all the fucking shootings. You're going to be a meat sock. See what I mean? Can't talk about my job anymore. If you get me talking about the kids and the things I did there, it gets much more positive. But when I talk about the actual institution and the employees, the adults of the educational system, that's where I just start. You got to get a straitjacket for me because I've just seen too much, and I'm not a liar, and I don't fucking polish everything. And I was in the shit most of the time, so I saw the shit, you know. So in some ways you have to take it like, well, you were underpaid. I guess maybe if I was an 8-hour employee, you know, and I didn't have to deal with all the crap all the time, and I could have a nice desk, you know, or a room I could stand in, not out in the rain and the sunshine and everything like that. Okay, maybe I wouldn't be so negative. But the fact is that I am. And that's what that experience created for me. Love the kids though. And I'll never stop saying, it was the greatest thing I ever did with my life, working with those kids. The people that are in charge of that mess, they are, oh my God, somebody needs to go in there to drag some of them away to Arkham, you know? They're nuts. Seriously. We've had child molesting football coaches in this town. Oh my God, that's crazy shit. I can't even totally explain. Custodian with guns in his desk at an elementary school. Him and the vice principal are shooting seagulls together. And the school district covering it up. Jesus, God, it was a fucking... place is a fucking nightmare. That's all I gotta say about it. I talked way too long on all that. Okay, so... that was just really disruptive to my morning. All that news coming at me was like, wow, that, and it's important. It's super important to talk about the gun issue and how there's an oil spill because the idiotic fucking oil company that's socked in all behind Ventura here, all in the hillside, mountainside behind us. And then on the other side of the avenue towards Santa Barbara, this huge, looks like one of those ant things. If you look on Google Earth, it looks like a, what do you call those? Like a, I don't know, they used to have them plexiglass and you keep ants in it, except it's flat and it's on the ground, and it's because they've just torn up everything back there and it's just a big ugly mess. You know, it looks like a giant landfill and shit. My son and my husband have hiked back there when they were young, and he said, you go back there, you find the weirdest shit. You like they were saying, you find tombstones, you know. And I said, yeah, people used to, I guess, I'm thinking they used to be able to drive up Hall Canyon like in their Model Ts back in the olden days, and they just dumped trash into Hall Canyon. And I think ever since the oil companies owned it, God only knows what the fuck goes on back there. I've had friends that worked for the oil companies. They were supposed to go around, test the wells because they had some kind of, you know, they were chemists, you know, so they were able to get this job. But it's just... the oil company here is just, you know, it's more like the home of crank addicts. It's a hard job. You know, it's when I was in Bakersfield, our neighbor worked in the oil fields. He was a big, huge crank addict. He said a lot of them were because it's long hours and there's a lot of toil. So it's all about productivity. It's really creepy. And then we get these things on the news and they go, You know, I believe in Ventura County and we need to keep fracking and good jobs and all this kind of shit because people are worried about fracking. Well, there's good reason to be worried about fracking. I don't remember having earthquakes up in Oakview before. Suddenly the earth has started to move. But I don't know that has anything to do with fracking, but I think there is a reasonable concern. And we need to move away from oil, and anybody that thinks otherwise is an idiot. End of line. You know, you're killing the planet. But they're going to figure it out because the 101 is going to wash away into the surf, or the train tracks are going to wash away into the surf over by the avenue and cut off the town from the rest of California. And then suddenly everybody's going to get a brain in their head and realize that they've created a gigantic ecological problem here. The stupidity in this area isn't just limited to the city council or the police department or the school district. It's basically coming from the military and the oil fields here. That's the industries that exist here, and that's where a lot of the stupidity permeates from, is their fucking idiotic fucking behavior. You know, and the rest of the whole area goes with it because that's where the jobs are. So whatever they say is okay with, you know, they're just idiots, or complete idiots. But it's going to change in the next 100 years, so I'm not too worried about it. Eventually, Point Mugu is going to be underwater. It'll be the submarine base of Point Mugu, and I guess they're going to replace it with a, it sounds like the Coast Guard's going to move in. Probably because there's going to be, in about 75 years, there'll start to be a huge bay out in Oxnard that Point Mugu's going to be under, you know. So that'll be like a huge opportunity. Maybe we could have a nice port, you know, out in Oxnard. So there's a lot of things that are going to change the economy in this area over the next 150 years that I'm not going to see. But these idiots that have invested in all that and their families living here, they're fucked. You know, if they invest in the oil companies, all this kind of stuff, their whole game is dwindling down to a petite. You know, military families, all that stuff. It's dwindling down to a petite. But unfortunately, I think along with it is the entire agricultural, because Oxnard was like the breadbasket of America, right? The Oxnard Plain, and now a lot of the Oxnard Plain is going to be covered in water. So goodbye, Oxnard strawberries, you know. But that's just the price of enjoying the profits of oil companies in this area and being stupid, just ecologically fucking ignorant, not allowing the sediment to run down the rivers, down into the ocean to replace the land, and then trying to replace it with cobbles that you're paying God knows how much to have truckloads of dumped up and down the beach. And every storm, they just get washed away into the ocean. The stupidity in this area is really bad. I really understand why I grew up listening to my father screaming and yelling every day when he came home from work. He's a chemist, you know, and he became a city supervisor here, and he was always incredibly frustrated with the way people are here. They are not, they're not, I don't know how to describe it, because we know my family knows a lot about the ecology here. And my dad was very close friends with Terry ONeill, who is kind of famous in this area, and he was a college professor and was very big on the ecology and the river in this area. And so I have a very deep knowledge of the problems with this place. And a lot of the regular citizens don't. And they don't realize you're living on a sandbar next to a hillside that could fall on you, and both are eroding away. And you think this is going to be here for what, 1,000 years? No, it's going to be very different in the future. And a lot of it is because you've accelerated a lot of the natural erosion that happens here. And you think you're not going to live with the consequences. Just like how Lake Casitas is dried up. Now you can walk through the town at the bottom. You want to see the town at the bottom of Lake Casitas? Go ahead and go over there, because the lake is almost gone. You know, what lake? Pond Casitas. It's gone. When they filled that lake, it took 10 years of good rain to fill that lake. We may never get 10 years of good rain again. People here are idiotic not to realize how devastating their future here may be. They're kind of living in the now, you know. So the whole thing with the school district frustrates me, but so does the town. And I can see it's a reflection of our government's influence on the area and money's influence on the area. And yeah, you can see it also in Congress. Government and money influence on Congress. Look how it fucks it up. This is a microcosm of the same kind of fucking stupidity. People just not making choices in their best interest in the long run because they're trying to make a quick buck half the time. You know, it's always about the quick buck. All right. So anyway, I guess I'm going to leave that as my show today, even though it's not about marijuana and I haven't seen anything. But I will say this. There is rumors going around. Okay, so this is the one marijuana news I will give you, and this does not come from the news. This comes from the rumor mill here in California amongst patients. One of California's biggest growers has majorly reduced their crop. And because of it, many dispensaries had knee-jerk reactions and have... We expect prices to skyrocket. The reason why growers are cutting back on their crop, why we thought of it, is because we believe that the police and the industry that has been subsidized by the drug war is a ravenous, predatory animal, and you are now starving it. Expect it to become extremely aggressive and unreasonable. Think of how we let the police go in, Iraq. And then they went crazy and ran in the street and started robbing everything and banging people on the head. So because so many towns have not regulated, are not going to be receiving tax money to help their police officers offset the losses from the drug war, there's going to be a starvation moment for them, which I'm sure many cities will probably take advantage of because that'll weaken them politically, the unions, the police unions politically. You know, this is me just guessing. I'm just guessing. This is just a guess based on, and we're all guessing. But we figure the police are going to go for a last money grab, some kind of crazed, start busting everybody, go nuts thing. So growers are reducing the size of their crop for the year of legalization because we know that it will bring danger to us. To have this win, there's going to be blowback somewhere because what else can they do? They have to go cuckoo, you know. So that's what we're expecting is them to overreact and start. They don't have the money to pay for a campaign, right, to fight legalization. They only have their uniforms and their badges to come out. So they need busts in order to come out and say, look, we busted this grow. And then they're going to say a whole bunch of crazy shit. Okay. Oh, I'm an idiot. I did have one more story, and it does go to this. I was totally distracted. The helicopters outside are very fucking distracting. To know that half the fucking news agencies in the world are on the other side of the hill from my house right now, freaking out about a major oil spill in my goddamn idiotic town is so fucking distracting for me. I want to stand outside and go, you deserve this! You deserve this! You are stupid! Seriously. When you get a bullhorn and just, you are morons! I hope the country's laughing at you. You deserve it. Okay. Anyway, I do have one more story, and actually it does go to something exactly like this, the kind of thing that's provoking this fear. Apparently, in another state, they found that the police testing lab was testing medical marijuana and saying it was synthetic. It was synthetic marijuana, and that way they could take the medical marijuana's property and arrest them and charge them with a bunch of things that, of course, were trumped up based on the synthetic marijuana. So instead of having you had a bunch of medical marijuana in your house, now you're a dealer for synthetic marijuana, and the charges start going up. So it sounds like this is going to be fought because they have to get an international accreditation to do this testing. And since there's a challenge saying that they're skewing the testing and using it to trump up charges against people in order to create income, that this will probably pressure their application for this, certificate that they need. And so that will probably push them into reform. But this is the kind of thing we have to look out for now, is the cops are going to bust you and say, that's not real marijuana, that's synthetic, and you're a drug lord for synthetic marijuana. You know, because you're dealing with someone who has based their life on a lie. How can you not expect them to act absolutely idiotic and dangerous at the end? I think they're going to become very dangerous. So we're going to go into deep hiding, which will have, at least this is the rumors, and I know we're talking about it just in our small, like I have 6 plants. I have 4 adults and 2 that are just coming up. You know, so I have little plants, and these are going to be my last for the season. And because we're going into November, and the police, we think, are going to go nuts all up and down California. And I know a lot of other, my saying goes, you're not paranoid. Other people are thinking this too. It's just, you think of it, it just stands to reason. How is this person that has based their entire career, their livelihood, their family's future, and everything else on a lie going to react when finally they get cut off? They're going to trip the fuck out. They're addicted to that money. Addicted. They're going to go fucking nuts, man. So I'll show you this video I recorded today. And stay high, goodbye, don't worry. I'm not that upset. It's just, you know, talking about the gun thing and my old job. Jesus Christ. The education system just has to be either destroyed or just put into the cloud, because it can't be given to these people anymore. They're like squirrels in a cage going nuts in those schools. I'm not kidding. They're like, I don't even like that teacher. Did you hear what she said about me? I mean, it's like, the new textbooks came in. Like every morning, I gotta get my coffee. Why is she always getting her coffee? I mean, it is a fucking, it's not even a funny sitcom. It's a little, why do you think I wanted to stand outside? I was like, I want to get the hell away from these people. They're nuts. You know? Okay. I love them. I do. I dearly love them. But they are tied up in psychosis over there. That's not a healthy situation to be in. And they're all walking around all professional in suits, like with degrees and stuff. And they have all these big words and they talk to each other. We're going to do this meeting and we're going to meet with the parents and we're going to put in this. Yeah, except the whole place is always falling apart and on red alert. And how come you need somebody like me? If everything is so in line and super professional and everything, why do you need to call in some sucker like me to guard a bathroom? Seriously. That's not, to me, the sign of people that have shit under control. Not when they got to lock down everything. Now, to me, it's like, we fucked up so bad, we got to put a padlock on everything around us now. Fences around the school, fences around us, fences around our heads, everything. Pad everything with foam. The real world is not like that. Because the real world, the natural world, is not fucking up like you are. This is a major fuck up. And I can't believe that apparently, supposedly, rational people with educations and college degrees more than me should be able to see that there's something a little psychotic about the whole thing. Education is incredibly important. We're dicking these kids out of it by sending them into a system that is fucking nuts. They go in there and they have to deal with crazy people. And then the crazy people come and talk to the parents and they're like, hello, Mr. and Mrs. I'm a professional. Look at my degree. I'm blah, 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 blah. Yeah, wait till you find out some of the other things this guy is. I mean, not everybody's bad, but there's, you know, the problem is they can hide. They can hide. They can use big words. They can use their suits. They can use their degrees to do dumb shit, whether they're bad people or just stupid people or just flawed. But letting them roll around with them suits and them degrees, acting like they know everything and waving in everybody's face is a big fucking problem. Gave me a major fucking headache for 25 years. And I mean, I had a headache before, after I graduated, dealing with them and then working in it. It was just like, I mean, I could go on and on and on. This is why my husband does not let me talk about this. And I do have good memories, but this is like after the breakup. So all I can remember is why I left. I was fed up to here with the dumb, move this pile of rocks from here and back again. I mean, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't even go back. I can't even go back and look at the gate. I can't even think about going in to explain why I'm leaving. I can't stand it. The burnout it was the last of the great burnouts. 25 years, I'm done with you guys. I've given you everything I can. Good luck. Bye. I'm leaving MASH 4077, getting on the helicopter and flying the fuck home and dealing with the crazy that you fucking put inside of me with that crazy system you have. Oof. Stress. So this is why my husband does not let me talk about the education system. The gun thing is only the beginning. God almighty, there's so much. I mean, they were giving the kids drugs, and if your kid wasn't on a medication, then the teacher's gonna fucking have a meeting with you. You need to go see your doctor. That's what they did to us. You need to give him Ritalin. You need to give him fucking speed. Are you crazy? He's not paying attention in class. Give him speed. Give him speed. Why aren't you giving him speed? That fucking place is nuts. Ugh. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. I'll show you this video about corrupt testing in this other state, and testing and saying that real marijuana is synthetic marijuana, and using that to do a bust and take people's property. And you stay high and goodbye and see you on Monday. And I'm sure we're going to have more amazing news, and hopefully what's happening in Congress will actually move this gun legislation forward so we can rejoin the sane world instead of over here. Like, I mean, it's OK Corral. I just don't get how. I support the Second Amendment, but this is crazy. All right? It's crazy. It's up in everybody's face now. It's nuts. Wow, the helicopters are crazy. The whole world of news is outside my door right now. It's nuts. Okay. See you tomorrow.
And its crime lab surrounding its marijuana testing policy.
It is the latest development in a case that we have been following for more than a year now. Dana Chickless joins us in the newsroom with the very latest on this. Dana?
Right. This class action lawsuit could affect people statewide, medical marijuana patients, or anybody caught with marijuana in the future. What it's claiming is that the state police crime labs are intentionally reporting marijuana as synthetic, something we've reported extensively on, charging people like Max Lorenz in Ottawa County with drug felonies without proof, claiming that it's doing so in order to get plea deals and more money through seizing more assets through drug forfeiture law in the state. All of this working to stop this policy in the lab. So two attorneys filing this suit yesterday, attorney Michael Comorn and Tim Daniels, on behalf of 4 plaintiffs, each of whom are medical marijuana patients or either a caregiver registered with Michigan. This includes Ottawa County father Max Lorenz, who again lost custody of his son over those drug charges, eventually dropped 16 months later because the prosecutor again had no proof. So in part, it's suing the Michigan State Police Director and its interim crime labs director, demanding they throw out this policy. The attorneys write here that this 2013 MSP policy was, quote, made in an attempt to strip medical marijuana patients of their rights and their immunities, charge or threaten to charge citizens with greater crimes than they might have committed, and obtain plea deals and increase proceeds from drug forfeiture, end quote. In the fall, the former labs director, that was Captain Gregoire Michaud, who just retired mid-May, he made a presentation stating 40% of the lab's budget went toward testing marijuana across the state, saying that that caseload was hindering other investigations like testing rape kits throughout the state. So earlier today, I just spoke with Comorn, who hopes this suit rearranges the lab's priorities.
That's one of the things I'm hoping that comes out of this, that we turn the focus away from and onto the more that we would all agree are more serious crimes that need full-on police investigation attention.
And I also spoke with the state police director of public affairs, who says they will not comment on pending cases like this one. She did default to the statement that they gave me back in November of 2015. That's on our website if you want to review it. But also keep in mind, coming up later this year, likely in the fall, the state police crime labs are going to be going through their renewal of their international accreditation process. We've got no doubt that this policy will be challenged throughout all of that. Michelle, Derek?
Dana, you talked about Max Lorenz a couple times in that story. 16-month custody battle, if you will. We did an update with the status when he was reunited with his son. Is that correct?
Yeah, incredible to see this case come full circle. 16 months, like you mentioned, until the drug felonies were dropped. 18 months, 2 months after that, when he was finally reunited with his son. In talking with Camoran, his attorney, who's still representing both of those cases pro bono, they've got a hearing this Friday in Ottawa County Family Court, hoping that this case will be done completely, case closed. But they are reunited. Good to see that.
Thanks for that update.
Yeah.
I mean, how messed up was that video? So there must be a lot of people viewing it. I see that the numbers have already jumped from the Facebook numbers from 100 and I think it was 101 when I first tried to open this video, which was like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. It's 208 now. I mean, this thing's blowing up.